Hello users of the internet, and welcome back to another video from the world's greatest YouTube account. Greaser Pipe Wrench is very excited to tell you that this is the 100th video. Greaser Pipe Wrench is actually the 101st video. Well, that Madeline Stunt Cars video was only meant to be one part, but then the computer decided to be a squat and had a seizure, interrupting the recording. Well, Greaser Pipe Wrench still doesn't make this the 100th video. Well, you are a square. And speaking of squares, I am once again playing 2048, a game of squares. And I'd like to apologize for Greaser Pipe Wrench's poor use of second-person English pronouns. He seems to not understand that you cannot be used for everything. Well, it can be, and it is in standard spoken English, but it's not supposed to be. Well, anyway, let's get right down to it. Welcome to the, the 100th video. Or, actually, the 101st video, but as Greaser Pipe Wrench said, if it hadn't been for the computer having a seizure, for that one Madeline Stunt Cars video a few months ago, or I don't know how long ago it was, this would have been the 100th video. But that's not all that important. It's good enough. This might as well be the 100th video. So here we are. What can be said? I don't know. Maybe I'll finally win this game. That'd be a pretty happy outcome for the so-called for the alleged 100th video. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty happy to finally win this. Let's see, what can be said. What can I talk about? I should have prepared something to talk about. I don't know. I never do that. I mean, part of the appeal to this is that things just kind of come out. It's not really planned all that much. It'd be really sad if the microphone isn't on and I am just talking to myself in this room. Okay, that didn't go anywhere. Okay, we got to play with efficiency. Like that. And that. Try to go in one way as much as possible. I've heard that's a good method. There, that's good. That's pretty good. That's good. We don't like to do that, but sometimes it's required. Ugh. This is already devolving into a disgraceful mess. But as long as I keep it more or less running in two directions, it should be okay. Hopefully. No results guaranteed. Alright, I need to find something to talk about. What the heck are we talking about today? I have no clue. It's because I don't talk to humans anymore. Humans are loud and noisy, and they taste weird. Wait a minute. I went to Walmart today. It's not all that big of a deal, but it's kind of fun to go down to the Walmart, to Wally World. Wally World, Dad? Wally World. What else is there to talk about? Oh, I had a thing I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was, though. Computer's being slow. There we go. Oh boy. Okay, now I have to start really thinking about this, otherwise I'll make poor choices. Now, I make poor choices in just about everything, but now I've got to be careful, because the poor choices will directly affect the quality of the video. There we go, that was pretty good. That was pretty Cash Money, like the Cash Money swing music. Oh, I was just informed today that I'll be eating lobster for Christmas when that rolls around. And this is being recorded on November 30th, 2022, or as I would call it, hold on, October 61st, 1989. Not because I think I'm in the 1980s, but that's just how my alternate calendar system works. Let's see. So that'll be pretty exciting. So that'll be, 25 days from now? Oh, my gosh. Christmas is a mere 3.5 weeks. Oh, my gosh. This year went by really quickly. This was supposed to be a year with lots of highway adventures, too. I was going to go out on lots of little road trips every few weekends, every maybe 4 to 8 weeks. I'd go on a trip. Little one. Just a few 100 miles to go explore something somewhere nearby. And it started out like that. How did it go? In February, I took a trip up to Flagstaff, Arizona for a bit of sledding. I went through an area called Baghdad, Arizona. It's a copper mining town. And yes, they do acknowledge that they share the name with the city in Iraq. The high school football team, or the high school mascot in Baghdad, Arizona, is the Sultans. The football team is called the Sultans, and I think that's kind of funny. But it's not all that creative, but it's kind of funny. It's to be expected. I don't know why this little town's called Baghdad. All I know is there's a copper mine there, because it's Arizona. There's lots of copper mining in Arizona. There's also a good deal of uranium mining. Okay, hold on here. It's critical moments. It's life or death. And it's death. But that was a pretty good run. Anyway, so there were going to be all sorts of good trips. That was the first one. Then there was a trip to Nogales, Arizona, which is at the southern terminus of Interstate 19. And interestingly, Interstate 19 is the only interstate, or the only highway actually, in all of the United States to have only metric designations for mileposts and distances and all that. It's left over from the Carter administration, which tried to convert the country to the metric system. Now, actually, I think it's sort of under maybe it was Gerald Ford, the Ford administration, but it didn't see any real progress until the Carter administration. But it was shut down under the Reagan administration for being un-American, and more importantly, for mainly being a waste of money. Our system works perfectly well, and since the Andrew Jackson administration, all the businesses have had the choice to use whichever system they preferred. So it's not like it was making a big deal. And honestly, I don't know why this issue is such a big problem for everyone outside of the United States. Who cares how we're measuring it? It all works equally well. Sure, the tens are nice for doing math, but our units are better sizes. And I actually really like our units of liquid capacity in the English and U.S. customary systems. That they're based on 2. So there's an ounce, and 2 ounces is a jack, 4 ounces is a Jill, 8 ounces is a cup, 16 is a pint, 32 is a quart, and let's see, 64 is a pottle, and what's the next size up? 100. Wait, I got off track. Wait, 64, 100, 128. 128 is a gallon. So that's really nice because 2s are really easy to work with and they're good for computers. It's good. It's really easy to store that on computer in binary code because it's 2-based. Anyway, it's not really better or worse than anything else. It's just kind of interesting. And that's true to every system. Everything has its own advantages. I personally like to measure in US customary units, convert to metric for calculations if physics are involved, and then convert back to US customary so I don't kill myself or anyone near me when I try to do whatever it is I just calculated. It's good to understand your units. Your being plural. Everyone I'm speaking to. And showing that most respect. Well, measurement tangents aside, trips. So the trip was then the next trip was going to be one to the Imperial Sand Dunes, and that happened. That was a good trip. That was in California. I went to Glamis and then Winter Haven. And that happened. But there were going to be a bunch of trips after that. Some ones going up into Utah and other fun places that aren't nearby. And they did sort of happen, but not the way I expected. Thanks to the current government, gasoline got very expensive when we started importing oil for whatever reason. I don't get it, but whatever. I don't get a say in that. I'm not allowed to vote. And so that shut down the highway adventures. But there were a few big trips we were going on anyway. So I thought, hey, why not take the scenic route, right? And so that's what we did, and still got some good trips in. There was one up to Pocatello, Idaho, that went through Utah on the way up. Went first through Nevada and Las Vegas and Nevada, and then into back through Arizona because Interstate 15 is kind of funny, and then into Utah, obviously, along Interstate 15, straight up into Idaho. And on the way back, got off the 15 onto the 70. And the Interstate 70, is an absolutely wonderful road to drive on in Utah. There's a 120-mile stretch of absolutely nothing, no exits, and it's just the most beautiful, desolate land I think, in the whole United States. But I haven't been through the entire United States. I need to do more exploring. But this was some of the most interesting land I've ever been on. Absolutely wonderful. Utah, southern Utah, northern Arizona are just really great. And that 70 stretch is really nice, but things that aren't along that stretch are really good too. Anyway, there's another trip to Ventura, California that took the back way in and really got to explore a bit of California for that. Areas I've never been through. And that was fun. Went through Barstow again. Tried to go to Baghdad another time. There's a diner there called the Diner on Main Street, conveniently located on Main Street. And I wanted to go there, but it was closed and dark by the time I got there. And it's kind of a hilly mountain road to get into Baghdad, so no doing that at night. Especially without a real need to get into Baghdad. Oh well, I'll time it correctly some other time. But there were supposed to be just all sorts of highway adventures to all sorts of fun places. But that didn't happen, because gasoline was too expensive. 2021 was a year of pretty inexpensive gasoline, albeit there were also virus restrictions. But that never stopped me on my highway adventures, despite passing through one of the most contagious zip codes. Maryville, an area in Phoenix, had the highest transmission rates of the Kung Flu, as I've heard it called, in the world for a short while. And had to drive right through there for certain highway adventures. And apart from that, there was no real danger on those highway adventures. It's just kind of sitting in the car. And fuel was cheap, so we did all sorts of fun stuff. I was hoping for another year of that, but that didn't come when gasoline got to be $5.50, $6. Highest I saw it was on the Ventura trip, $8 right there on the coast. Yeah, there's a gas station that will look right out into the ocean. $8 for the gasoline. Jeez. I mean, that's just mean. We build a car-centric society, which is fine. And then we make the gasoline really expensive, which is not fine. If we had better light rail, which I'm not particularly for or against, and other public transit, then the really expensive gasoline wouldn't be a problem because we wouldn't have to drive everywhere. Again, not a criticism of the system, but it's in combination. One or the other, not both. Either rely on cars and have cheap fuel, or have expensive fuel and have better options for other things. I don't really care which we do. Personally, I'd rather have cheap fuel and rely on the cars for everything. But if that's not what we're going to go with, at least make it easier to get around so I don't have to drive everywhere, and therefore I'm spending roughly the same amount on fuel regardless of what I'm doing. The point is, I wish everything wouldn't be so darn expensive all the time. Anyway, gasoline is finally coming down again. It's probably not going to stay down, but it's gotten cheaper. We've started importing from Venezuela. That's better than Russia, I guess. I don't like Russia too much. Neither does half the Western world right now. So if gasoline would just come down, it's going down 10 cents every few days. I drive out to places and look at the signs and all that. And oh, that's a story for another day. My great uncle used to be a billboard inspector for the state. Well, I can tell the story quickly. Basically, he would just drive around and make sure all the billboards were correct, and nobody was doing any billboard crimes. Anyway, he made a lot of money as a contractor for the state, and he doesn't do that anymore, though. But yeah, he was doing that, and basically, he was getting paid to go on highway adventures and make sure the billboards were good. I would make sure the billboards were all correct and all that. That would have been a great job to have. But anyway, let's hope the cheap fuel takes me on many highway adventures in the future. And let's hope that these videos will really take off. Well, anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the video. This is the 101st actual video, 100th topic, I guess, 100th subject of a video. I don't know what to call it. But, yeah. Consider liking and subscribing, and enjoy the rest of the internet. Goodbye, users of the internet. This is the world's greatest YouTube account, signing off for the 101st time. Oh, actually, for the 100th time. Well, I didn't sign... Oh, never mind. Everyone understands the point. 100th video, 101st, whatever. Enjoy the rest of the internet.